Hello everyone, my name is Sonic Coker and welcome back to another video. I hope you guys are all doing well, and today I have a new laptop for myself. So for the ones that have been keeping track, and by the way, sorry for the echoey sound, I'm in the kitchen or living room area, so do bear that in mind. My studio simply isn't big enough for a table scene, plus I don't have a table there. And it just looked bad. So we're in the kitchen, so sorry for the echoey sound. I'll try and edit it out as much as I can. But without further ado, let's get started. So, for the people who've been keeping track on Instagram and other social media, know that I have a Lenovo Z5070 IdeaPad computer, and this has held up relatively well for 3 years. So I needed this for my IT courses, like to like learn stuff about computers and all sorts of stuff, really basic stuff. But this has only held up for 3 years, and it basically boils down to this. The hinge has broken clean off after a 5 cm drop. It's fine in the panel itself. The hinge is fine in the panel itself, but it's broken off clean from the base of the unit, which is, well, plastic. The top is aluminum, but the bottom is plastic. And with all that weight, putting that in plastic, screwing it down, not really a good solution. So this Lenovo is dead. And I wanted to try out some other brands if I could, but unfortunately I couldn't. So that brings us to today's new laptop. So this is a Lenovo Yoga 730. I wanted to go for a Dell XPS laptop. They're professional grade laptops, but the problem with that is, one, it's more expensive. Two, if you go for the laptop version, you don't get a touchscreen, you don't get any handy other stuff, and the internals are pretty much the same. The only difference is how it's built. So you get the same GPU, you get around the same processor and RAM, and even faster storage with this unit compared to the XPS 15. The only difference really is that the XPS 15 comes with a really good color calibrated screen, but you have that nice screen, but you can't write on it. Now, that with this unit is possible. So the Yoga 730 is a convertible laptop. We're gonna go and take a look at it. We're gonna open it up and I'll show you exactly what a convertible laptop looks like. So without further ado, let's get into it. And yeah, I'm kind of cut off frame. I'm really sorry, but that's just the way things go around here. So I bought this laptop for around €1,000. 1,065 or 1,077 euros. That is a lot of money. Not joking, that is a lot of money. It was needed to be spent. I needed something that was gonna be even better than what I already had in terms of build quality. So this laptop is completely aluminum. My previous laptop was metal on top of plastic. This laptop is completely aluminum. Now honestly, that looks really fancy. I am a lover and a sucker for red. I love me some red accents. It's very well packaged and it's heavy for now. The laptop is just over 2 kilos, so it's gonna be bearable. It's not gonna be as heavy as my current one. So this thing is completely aluminum versus my previous one that was plastic. But this one, by some miracle, is lighter in weight. We're gonna have to go and see how that goes, but let's open this up. I'm really excited actually. I was very disappointed in the laptop that I got, the Z5070, the plastic one on the floor. Not as smooth as Apple, obviously. It takes some weight, but eventually, ooh, okay. I said nothing. It's not as smooth as Apple, because Apple, you know, you lift it up and it's done. But you put a cloth all over it. That's the laptop? This thin? Holy shit, look at that. That's razor thin for a laptop. Oh, that looks really good. Let's take a look. So we got this flap that opens up. And in here we got 2 more boxes. We got, let's see, documentation. Yeah, documentation. And then in the right one, I think we're gonna get the power adapters. Yeah. Now this laptop has about 8-ish hours battery life. 6 if you get the 13-inch model. Lenovo claims something much larger, obviously, but from what I've been told by reviewers, it can hold up about 8 hours, which is a work day for me. If I can do that with light work, then that's great. That's a solid laptop for me. We're gonna have to go ahead and see. This thing actually reminds me a lot of a shoebox, but a really fancy shoebox, like the type of shoes that you would get for like a very high-end party. This is it. This is the laptop. It's seriously thin. It's really thin, and it feels heavy and premium. Oh man, that's shiny. Look at that. I mean, it's lighter than my current one. It's definitely lighter than my current one, but it feels much more sturdy. That looks really, really good. Speakers on the bottom, JBL speakers should be all right. I mean, it's not gonna be the most perfect thing, but this is a really slick looking laptop. And this looks really professional. It's thin, so it's not like full on gamery. But if you believe it or not, there's actually a GTX 1050 in here. So don't expect to go full on ham on gaming in with this thing, but it's gonna hold up pretty darn well. Now let's open this up. You get to have the first look. And that's a really smooth hinge. I mean, can you lift it up? You can actually lift it up with one hand. That is usually only the case with MacBooks. And there is an HP Spectre that I checked out that also had this. That is really cool to be able to open this with one hand. I think you'll agree that that's a really nice looking display. It is a Full HD 250 nit touchscreen. Well, 250, but it can reach up to 300, I think. But that is a really nice looking screen. And yeah, fingerprint sensor, touchpad over here, and the touchpad feels, well, it's not the best touchpad. I had better touchpads. I mean, it's an alright touchpad. I think it's glass, but I've had better touchpads. So the Surface Book 2, saw that one at the retail store, and I instantly fell in love with the thing. The Surface Book 2 touchpad is the pinnacle of touchpads together with the MacBooks. Because like, even if your fingers are like slip or like having a lot of grip on them and not as smooth. With this one, it tends to jitter over the touchpad. With the Surface Book, that never happens. So that is a whole different level. But this is a convertible laptop. This is not just a laptop. You can also turn the entire screen around and use it as a tablet. You can draw on it, you can use the pen, and yes, I also bought the pen. So that's about a €40 pen, which is a lot, but hey, if you want to be an artist, you gotta put your money somewhere. The display is really nice. It is thin bezels. It is really thin bezels, but the webcam is still up top. So for people that think that they're gonna have a webcam on the bottom and that looks up your nose, not an issue on this one. But being able to put it in a mode like this, like tablet mode, is really handy. It's nice to hold, and it's just easy. I mean, the bezels are a little bit too thin to hold it by the sides, but it feels really good. You could also hold it like a magazine if you want to read an article. It's perfect for that. Now you are going to feel the keyboard on the back, but honestly, that's not. I don't think you'll notice it that much. I don't think it's going to be much of a problem for many people. What I do think, when you put it in presentation mode, as people call it, like so, I'm not sure about the longevity of the keyboard. If you're gonna put this down like this, or you're gonna put it in presentation mode, be really careful with your key. Like, don't do what I just did. Don't twist it while it's in presentation mode. I think that I'll prefer this mode much more. Tent mode. And I think that is because this way I won't scratch too much of my device. If you're gonna be drawing, I mean, you can put the tent mode down all the way you want and you can still draw on it, but be careful because it is gonna, plop back down into its original position. So if you're gonna draw on this thing, be really careful. And yeah, like I said, it is aluminum, but don't turn it while it's in presentation mode. You're gonna scratch up the surface. especially if you are not if you're not paying attention, because this is a wooden table. But imagine if you were having a stone table and you forget about that. You're gonna ruin your laptop. So be really careful where you're gonna use presentation mode and where you're gonna be using tent mode. Tent mode as well, because you also scratch up this aluminum. So be really careful with what you do. It has some proper rubber pads on the bottom. So if you're gonna be working on a stone table, be sure to just keep it like this. There's no problem with it, and it's a touchscreen, you can still use it. Keyboard is alright. You don't have a number pad. I don't know what this is all about. A little bit of extra bit above the enter key for the vertical slash button. I don't know what that's all about. And the keyboard is also fully backlit, so that's a really nice feature. But this, honestly, first impressions, this looks like a really good looking premium laptop. Now I'm gonna go through the setup process of this and we'll be right back. Okay everyone, I've set it up and it's working really well. I do have to get used to having the arrow keys in a much different position. I'm used to having full-size arrow keys and not having the up and down being so close together. So that is something that I'm gonna have to get used to. But it is nice to have the fingerprint sensor. It is nice to have the touchscreen and have a backlit keyboard that has 2 modes and it fades in, so it's not like instantly boom, harsh lighting in your eyes. The display is really nice. It's really sharp. It's an IPS display. It's not the brightest, but on its full brightness, on which it is right now, it looks really good. I think that this thing will hold up even in sunlight. Or at least moderate sunlight, but it looks really good. And so yeah, I've just been watching some videos in 4K as well. I mean, this is not a 4K panel, but this processor is good enough for it. You can stream 4K video very easily off of multiple Chrome tabs on this 8th generation Intel Core processor that's really optimized for Ultra HD video. If you were to do the same thing on a Haswell, it's not gonna look pretty. But no, this works really well. And yeah, you got Cortana built in, of course, as well. And the fact that you can use this thing as a tablet is really cool. So a cool thing that you can do actually is you can swipe from left to right and go into your multitasking. So I first thought that you'd need to get the task view button, that one had to stay around, because if you're in tablet mode that's gonna suck. But actually you don't, you just swipe from left to right and you go into multitasking mode. So that's really cool. In browsers, this is also handy. If you like swipe from left to right or from right to left on the edges of the browser, doesn't matter what browser it is, if you do that, you can actually go back a page. And that's really cool. So being able to go back and forth in web browsers using that is really cool. It's cool for reading magazines, it's really cool for looking through articles and many videos. And another thing is some keys do feel a little mushy. So the spacebar feels a little mushy on me, and the delete key feels, again, a little mushy. So when I go and type into a document, let's say, all keys feel pretty consistent, but when it comes to the delete key, the first few times, I think I feel the LED light that's underneath, but it feels a little bit mushy. I have no idea why that is, but it seems to be the odd one out. It seems to be the only key that has this problem. I have not yet discovered any other keys other than the spacebar maybe. But it seems very well balanced, it seems to do very well. The touchpad is really nice now actually. And yeah, I mean, having it together with the pen, it's a little weird. It is positioned in a USB, like the holder for the pen is put into a USB slot, which is not the most elegant solution. I would have much more preferred for Lenovo to put a dedicated place on the body of this laptop for that thing to click in, but hey, we're gonna have to do it with what it is. But you could put it in vertically, you could put it in from the bottom to the top, from the top to the bottom. It is actually really elegant if you just put the pen like this. Here, let me show you. If you just put the pen in like this, it actually looks really elegant. It actually reminds me of a little bit of an ink well, if you know what I mean. But yeah, I mean, it's a really cool looking laptop. It feels very sturdy. It doesn't get hot at all. I mean, the warm air comes through the back. I mean, it's a little warm up top around here, but other than that, very solid laptop. I actually don't have many complaints. But of course, over the course of the next upcoming weeks, we're gonna see whether or not that holds up or not. Let's see about battery life. Let's see how long it can stream video for. Let's see like how well I'm gonna be able to utilize this pen. It is a really nice pen. I gotta give him that. Although the button placement, not too sure about it. It feels like a natural pen. It really does. It's well balanced. The battery doesn't weigh too much in the rear. I mean, it does weigh down. So if you're holding it relaxed, the battery will keep the pen in between your fingers. So it's very ergonomic to say the least. So you can actually hold it very relaxed. You don't have to worry about holding it that firm actually. So that's another plus point. Now again, like I said, I'm not too sure about the longevity of going between the modes. So if you're like on a table like this, like wood, I think presentation mode is not going to be much of an issue, and neither is tent mode going to be an issue. But I do think, I'm sorry for the clock by the way, I do think that if you were on some other different types of materials of table, you should be careful about how you position your laptop, because you might have a 2-in-1 convertible, but that doesn't mean that it's good for that in every single situation, so you have to keep that in mind. But this laptop is thin compared to my old one. It's really thin, it's really sturdy, it feels premium, and it has the same internals as an XPS 15. I'm pretty happy with that. I mean, XPS 15 would be a little bit more expensive. It would have a better screen, but you wouldn't have a touch screen. And for someone that likes to edit photos, having a touch screen can actually help me a lot. It just is so much more interactive. So I think that I'll be using this pen quite a few times, whether that is for explaining someone something, or whether or not I'm scrolling through something or want to take notes or whatnot. I'm gonna try and find reasons to use this pen, because otherwise I can't justify its €40 price tag. So I'm gonna find reasons to use the pen, and I'm sure that we can find a few along the way. I still find it very weird that it is in the USB slot, but you got 2 USB 3.0 slots, so I don't think it's gonna be too much of a problem. And so you got another one right here. You got your headphone jack, you got a USB-C port, so if you want to use external displays or like DisplayPort or whatnot, you can do that. You can't charge over it, as far as I'm concerned. I need to test out the dash charger on it, but I don't think that this one charges. The 13-inch model does charge through both USB-C ports, but this thing doesn't. The 15-inch model doesn't charge through that. It does fast charge over the regular cable, and it has gone up to full charge relatively fast for as much as I could see. And yeah, you'll get a full-size HDMI port, which is also really cool. So having a full-size HDMI port as a student is really important, because you're going to do presentations and stuff, and you need that HDMI port. You can try and use your USB-C dongles, but come on, who wants to carry a dongle around? I was specifically looking for a laptop that still had a full-size HDMI port, so that I don't have to worry about carrying around any dongles, so that I'm not going to be, so I don't need to rely on dongles. I freaking hate dongles. So that is another point. Another thing that I do recommend for anyone who is using a touchscreen is to switch Windows settings to respond to single clicks. So if you're using a touchscreen and you're navigating in Windows Explorer, many people will know that if you tap on let's say your disk PC or OneDrive and whatnot, and if you click on it, usually you have to double click. Well, in terms of a touchscreen, you might want to change that to a single click. Actually, for one more thing that I need to do, of course, is I gotta test out the camera quality. Camera quality not too great. I mean, I have a studio light fixed on me right now, but the camera quality, I mean, it's usable. It's not perfect. No webcam on a laptop is ever perfect unless you are a Surface Book. But no, I mean, for conference calling and regular use, it's really good.
Hello everyone, so this is how the webcam looks like and how the microphone sounds like. Don't think it's gonna be too good, honestly.
0.9 megapixels, but at least it's at 30 frames per second and it's relatively smooth. Anyhow, I love this Lenovo laptop. I think that I'm gonna have a lot of fun on it. And like I said, that awesome backlit keyboard, it's subtle. It's not harsh, it's not like a big fat light in your face. I think it looks really smooth, really slick, and very professional. And that's the kind of thing that I'm looking for. I want this laptop to look like a professional tool. I don't want the gamery look. I don't like the red accents. I wanted something that looked very professional, and I think that this thing looks really professional. I would have preferred a number pad, but as far as first impressions go, this is a really solid laptop. Anyhow, that has been my first impressions on the Lenovo Yoga 730. Great 15-inch convertible laptop, very nice aluminum finish built, fingerprint sensor, great touchpad, a little bit on the mushy side of keyboards. Screen is not the brightest, but it's alright for the price that you're getting it. Color accuracy, could be a little bit better, but performance is gonna be really good. And I think I'm gonna try and edit this video on this laptop because I want to be able to edit videos off of this laptop. So I'm gonna try and test out this GPU's performance in DaVinci Resolve because like I said, I can't afford Adobe anymore. Although I have maybe struck a deal with my mom for some allowance allowance again. But until then, I'm gonna use DaVinci Resolve and see whether or not I can edit this video together on this machine. I'm very much looking forward to seeing how that is going to hold up. So I want to thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe, and hit that bell icon to get notified the second I do something. Instagram, Twitter, links down below, and of course go join our Discord community to talk with some more similar like-minded people.